Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello, party peoples.
Hello.
Chat isn't here. It's just our lurkers right now, which is fine. I'll go ahead and say at the moment that CB shan't be here. She was going to, but like 20 minutes ago, she was like, "Nope, the headache is still here." She like was doing really well this morning because like she and I were doing work and chills throughout most of the day. And so she was like feeling good this morning, just like really tired and stuff, which fair. But then like as the day went on, she steadily got worse and worse, which I'm all like, same. But like,
yeah.
if you would it be
CB.
Fox just messaged, where is the wayward child? Dying in her room.
Dead to the world.
She
Hopefully
tried,
sleeping.
She tried really hard. Like earlier, she was like, I'm debating a nap or caffeine. And I'm like, you should try nap first and then caffeine. Because if you try caffeine first and then nap, it fucks up your REM cycle.
Really?
Or it can fuck up the cycle. Yeah, well, if you respond to caffeine in the way most people respond to caffeine, caffeine can in fact delay your REM cycle.
Yeah, but CB doesn't respond, right?
It wakes her up, so she responds to it normal enough that it's a concern for me. Because for me, I can have like a cup of coffee and sleep better because of my migraines.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, I've heard
soothes migraine, but and for her, caffeine does also help her migraines, but it also helps her stay awake. So that's where my concern for her is. She is somebody who requires the average amount of sleep. It's so pretentious. It needs another name, but technically I'm in the sleepless elite, so we only require like half the amount of sleep. Our REM cycles are like half as long as regular. So like a normal REM cycle, I think, is like 7 or 8 hours, and then mine are like 3 or 4 hours. This is very important to know when taking a power nap, because if your REM cycle is half the length of everybody else's and they take like one of those power naps, but you try to take the same length of a power nap, you will interrupt your own REM cycle, and that is not fun.
So you just like can't nap?
I can, but I need to nap for shorter amounts of time. And normally, well, for migraines, this isn't just a migraine thing. This is apparently a lot of different chronic illnesses have this, where you can nap and then wake up feeling worse. So some of us, we really put off napping because we're like, this is a danger. I will just stay awake until I cannot function anymore.
How did you find out that your REM cycle was like halved? Is there a doctor for that? Or did you just figure it out?
Yes, there is a doctor for that. However, I have just always not needed that much. Like ever since I was a baby, I took shorter naps and I didn't sleep as long. And my grandma and I would go to sleep at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I would wake up with my mom, who would get up for school because she was in high school at the time. So like I've always just needed like smaller blocks of time to sleep. And it's also really hard for me because I have a nocturnal. I forgot what the internal clock is called, but I'm nocturnal. I'm not. Is it It's either nocturnal or diurnal. I forget what the daytime one is. So, which that's very commonly paired is that people who are naturally more active and alert at night also tend to need less sleep. So yeah, like in middle school and elementary school, my mom would conk out at 9 or 10, but I'd still be awake till like 2 or 3, and then I'd wake up at 7 and I'd be fine. And so like in high school, she was like, you control your sleep. As long as you get yourself up in the morning for school, I don't care when you sleep. And so that's what I would do. I would stay up till 3 and then wake up at 7. And I was I'll have a day where I sleep a lot but otherwise I'm fine. And like I didn't push myself to, stay awake to prove anything. I just literally was not tired. And it stayed like that, but it's still like that to this day. Like if I get more than 7 hours of sleep, I am lethargic and I feel terrible. But yeah, I did talk to my doctor when I first got diagnosed with chronic migraines because with migraines, one of the triggers is not getting enough sleep. And so, of course, every life is all like, oh, well, maybe you're just not sleeping enough. And I'm like, talk to my doctor. And I talked to him, and he said, he was like, it doesn't actually matter how long you sleep or when you get sleep. He's like, listen to your body. As long as you're getting enough sleep for your body to feel rested, sleep when your body tells you to, for as long as your body tells you to, and you're fine. Circadian rhythm, that's the thing. Because everybody's circadian rhythm is unique to themselves. And because of survival and thing, there actually are like a ton of people who are nocturnal. Because back in the day, somebody had to stay awake
at night,
for when things would come kill us.
Yeah, watch the group over at night. Someone had to take the night shift.
Exactly. And it's just that our society and our world are not built for the nocturnals anymore. Really,
as a morning person, I apologize on behalf of the rest of us.
You're good. It's funny because because I am both nocturnal and part of the sleepless elite, which again, pretentious name, I know, but that is what it's called. Google it. I wake up at like 9 or 10 and I'm good to go. Well, before migraines. Now I wake up more at 11 or noon, but I prefer to wake up at 9 or 10. And I try to do that.
Caffeine helping migraines is.
Coffee helping migraines. Now you sleep for 16 hours, day trader. That's sickness. Sorry, go on. Caffeine helping migraines, what?
Caffeine helping migraines just sounds so counterintuitive. I don't know what it is to me that's like migraines you should be like shutting down like in bed in the dark, and being hyperactive would make that harder.
Well, that's the thing. Caffeine doesn't make me hyperactive. It's actually a lot of neurotypical individuals. Caffeine does not provide energy. It just focuses the mind a little better. Which is why drinking coffee can help me focus on writing and stuff, but it doesn't actually provide me with any extra boost in energy. Also, I don't drink tons and tons of caffeine. But migraine triggers and migraine soothers are like a lot of the dietary ones are 50-50. Because like for me, caffeine can soothe a migraine. But somebody I know, who is that? They've been on stream with me within the last 2 months. If they have a migraine or a headache, it will trigger. Or if they have too much caffeine, it will trigger a migraine for them. So chocolate is another one of those that can either help a migraine or trigger it. Thankfully, it does not trigger none of my triggers are dietary from what I have tested, except wine. But that's a 50-50. Mm-hmm. And that's because of like the specific sugar within wine from the fermenting process.
I've only ever had a migraine once, and someone had to tell me I was having a migraine because I didn't have the crazy headache. I just felt like really nauseous and I couldn't focus.
Yeah.
For me, but that
The
made me
brain
realize that
fog.
I've probably had migraines before and didn't know that they were migraines because it wasn't a lot of like head pain. I don't get a lot of headaches, but I have had a lot of
Neither
bouts of
do
like
I.
not being able to focus and being really
The brain
nauseous.
fog. Yeah, I talked to a doctor because there's migraines, which migraines just about anybody can get, and they're generally like known as just being incredibly like painful and light sensitive and all of that. And then there's episodic migraines, which means you get migraines like at least a couple times a month. My internet went out for a sec. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Right. And then there's chronic migraines, which is what I have. And in order to be diagnosed with chronic migraines, you have to have symptoms at least 16 out of days of the month. And I had them at least 25 days. But yeah, like the head pain, I rarely got headaches at all. It's all the other symptoms, which is why like it took me like 14 years to realize what I had was migraines. And I only even realized it after they became chronic.
Oh.
I know, but hopefully I'm back to normal.
You are back to normal.
Also, hello, Nikki. You're working on your... Where are we on index cards? Are we the same place we were last week? Which I think was toward the end of 12. I typed that comment really slowly. I was figuring out how to word it. You're good. Hey, RP. Hey, Christian. Hey, Cool Gamer. Hi, Kelly. Today is Migraine Awareness Day, which we occasionally have every now and then.
Some of us are being made more aware for the first time.
You're good. One of the things I had decided that I was going to do when I started my channel is I was going to talk about all of the things in my life that impact my writing, and migraines is definitely one of them. Toward the end of chapter 13. Awesome. Also, I'm being reminded that we should do intros. I don't have a Rowan intro card, Fox.
That's okay. That's okay. I can intro card myself verbally.
Good.
Do you want to go?
No, you go ahead. I always go last.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Rowan. I'm actually one of CB's friends from college, and I actually joined this community because of her, so I'm very thankful. And yeah, I use they, them pronouns, and I am currently working on a novel based on Fleetwood Mac and like their interpersonal drama. "13 out of 24. Oh, wow.
We'll try to
really
get
good.
you past that block. Sorry, I'm trying to send the right emoji to Fox as a response to him, and I accidentally clicked the blue block. That's not the laugh emoji.
Not the laugh emoji.
All right, and I am writing Mom Samantha El Nassid on my channel. I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I host live streams like these every Monday from 7 to 10 Central Standard Time. Next month is my birthday, and so Matt and I will be having our birthday bash on the 26th. We'll see if we have guests or not. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Whip Wednesday is back up and going. Currently, still its regular time. We don't yet know if we'll need to change that. CB should be getting her schedules soon, though. And then Thursday, theoretically, my writing work shift will start back up this Thursday. We will see. Life has been kicking my ass. And everybody, tell me how your weekends were. My weekend was tax-free weekends, so we went school supply shopping. Fox, I will look. Now that life has stopped kicking my ass as hard, I will kick the butts of the others to see when the next Flash Friction free-for-all is, but I do have to wait for CB's schedules for that. Unless you don't want a wayward child there. I mean, I'm just saying. I get box DMs. He doesn't. Yeah, you know this. You've been here. Oh yeah, so it was tax-free weekend. Also, my cousin called me throwing a hissy fit because he wanted me to go see him because he and his branch were visiting for the weekend, and he was an absolute brat about it because he was like, "What are you doing Saturday?" And I was like, "I don't know. It depends on how much shopping I get done on Friday." And he goes, "Well," he's like, "you could shop a different day." He's like, "Come see me." I'm like, "It's tax-free weekend. I got to do that first." And he's like, "I don't care. I visit like twice a year." And I'm like, "Tax-free weekend's here like once a year. How's my fault you timed it this way?" So I was like, well, he's not usually a brat about it, so I guess I'll go see him. So I went after we finished our errands on Saturday. No, I went to see him Sunday morning because that was my other thing. I was like, why can't I come see you Sunday morning? And he was like, I don't know how long I'll be here on Sunday. And then Saturday, when I called him, I'm like, are you even at your mama's house still? And he was like, yes, but I'm not leaving till 1 on Sunday, so you can come by tomorrow morning. And I'm like, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Make sure you're at your mama's. Which he was not. Do? He was, but just talked mainly. Like, just saw each other, talked. His youngest daughter has finally opened up and was actually talking to me and stuff. And I'm like, oh. It's storming here, so the internet connection is...
No, you're good. It was pouring here earlier. I couldn't take the kids at work outside at all. And trust me, I didn't hear the end of that for about 3 or 4 hours about the rain and not being able to go play on the field. And Rowan, why can't you take us outside? Because your parents will be upset at me if I send you home sopping wet. I had a fairly eventful weekend. I checked out this new public market that they opened up a couple years ago, but I hadn't actually been to. It's just like this old sort of rundown building. Walking in was kind of unsettling because all of the pipes and all of the what's the word? Like, not plumbing? Ventilation, plumbing, and
infrastructure
and like the layer between the inside and the outside that keeps the elements
insulation.
There's a word. Insulation. Thank you. And the insulation was like all visible, but there was a ton of restaurants everywhere. I had the best sweet potato waffle fries of my life. I'd never considered sweet potato waffle fries, but now that I have, I will never be the same person again.
Same, they started serving sweet potato waffle fries at various restaurants here 4 years ago, and I don't want to go back to French fries. If I go to a restaurant, I'm like, sweet potato fries?
I love sweet potato fries, but sweet potato waffle fries, I know waffle fries are exactly the same as regular fries, but they taste different, and I will take that to my grave.
I get you.
But they were good. They weren't even a little bit greasy. They were fried, but they weren't even a tiny bit greasy. I had a poke bowl that I got 3 meals out of it because it was so big.
That's when you know it's worth the money.
If you guys want a hack for a family who can't agree on what they want to eat, go to a public market that has a bunch of different restaurants and you can all get your own food and meet together and sit, because that was the perfect setup for my family. That takes about an hour to decide where we want to eat. And then on Sunday, my dad took his first hand at making burnt ends. And now, I haven't really had much Southern barbecue before. My dad just got a smoker a few years back, and he's really been getting a lot of use out of that. And I thought I wouldn't like burnt ends because I have such a thing about fat and cartilage, and the texture of it just makes me feel terrible. But it was so rendered that it melted. And I'd never, when they said melt in your mouth, I didn't have a frame of reference as to what that meant for meat. I'm from the north. I don't know anything about barbecue.
You're fine. You're fine.
Everything I know about barbecue is like people from the south coming up here to share it with me.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, if anything made in the smoker, if it is made correctly, the fat melts off, and then the meat is so succulent, it feels like it's melting in your mouth. It's so
But
good.
like for years, I had no idea. Like, what do you mean the meat melts in your mouth? It's
no,
meat.
I get that. That's like, I get how you could be like, but I don't know if I want my meat melting in my mouth. That sounds suspicious.
But my dad's gotten really good at barbecue, so I finally understand what that phrase meant. So I had a great weekend.
Also, falling off the bone, my husband didn't really realize, like, he's from Florida, which is like
not quite barbecue.
I was gonna say not quite. Like, there are parts of Florida that, like, really the closer it is to Georgia, the more like Southern culture it is. But for the most part, it's actually more a mix of the
like Spanish culture and
like Spanish and
Cuban.
Caribbean culture. Well,
yeah,
Cuban is a Spanish culture, but like more like Hispanic and Caribbean influence and stuff, because there's a lot of people from like Haiti and other places. But yeah, so like the first time I made us turkey and stuff, and he like lifted the turkey leg and the meat just came off the bone. I was so proud of myself. And then I made ribs. Oh yeah, it literally it just slides off.
I didn't know it could do that.
And ribs. My dad made ribs this summer, and oh my gosh, we were trying to cut the ribs. You didn't even have to try to cut the rib, because you just pulled the bone off and it just fell off. It was great.
I had my first experience of that, where you could just like take it off. You didn't have to cut. That was amazing. Barbecue, America. Mm-hmm. America does have good stuff sometimes. American barbecue, there's nothing like it, man.
We do. It's just, which a lot of our stuff gets made fun of, because it's like, oh yeah, that's like, but your food's like so super not healthy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, have you seen blood sausage? Because I wouldn't exactly hold that as the picture of health.
But also, like, do they think we're eating like that every day? Like, that's going out food. Some of us, yeah.
Some of us do. I could be one of them. But RP this weekend, he said, my girlfriend got an extra day pass to a convention this weekend, so I got to go to it and got an art print signed by Robbie Damon from Critical Role, so that's pretty fucking awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's
I have
really
my
sick.
Exposure to Robbie Damon. So, like, I first heard of Robbie Damon. My sister and I actually went to a special viewing of one of the Sailor Moon movies that they had. They had redubbed it, because it was like when Crystal was coming out, and so they were doing a promotion where they were showing the Sailor Moon movies in theaters. And so my sister and I were like, all right, we gotta go. And there was an interview. Now, Robbie Damon does the new voice of Tuxedo Mask. And so, like, we're watching it and stuff, and I don't remember. Oh, it was for Promise of the Rose, because they kept calling Fiore Fiole in the interview. And my sister and I are sitting here like, they better not call him Fiole throughout the whole movie. Like, but like Robbie, and I forgot the Sailor Moon's voice actress, but they just kept doing that. And I was like, but then we watched the movie, and throughout the entire movie they call him Fiore, and I'm like, that's gotta be some sort of weird inside joke that they just did for the interview. There's no other explanation for this. And then he guest stars on Critical Role, like, I want to say a year or so later. And I was like, I know that voice. I know that. It's that Tuxedo Mask. And I was like, it is Tuxedo Mask. And then I absolutely adored Robbie and stuff. And then the Critical Role Vox Machina Kith and Kin book came out. and he is the narrator. Like, Laura voices Vex's dialogue and Liam voices Vax's dialogue, but Robbie actually narrates the whole book. And I'm like, I need this man to narrate more books, because the way he narrates this book to me is just so soothing and lovely sounding.
He has
And
a
I
good voice.
actually, for the Year of Favorites readathon, August is family themed, and so Kith and Kin is my pick. So I actually get to listen to that book again next month. But so the timing of all of this, he and Keanu Reeves are just like demigod levels of amazing humans.
Keanu Reeves, who is a vampire. Let's just put it out, get it out there. Who is probably a vampire.
Also, hold on. What, Hellsing? There is going to, for my weebs out there, there's going to be a Hellsing live adaptation movie, and the rumor mill is that Keanu Reeves was cast as Alucard. For my non-weebs out there, what this basically means is there is going to be a Dracula vampire hunter themed movie in which Keanu Reeves plays Dracula. So,
I mean, he's already there. You know, this is who he is. He looks the same. Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage plays Dracula in Renfield, and I was going to say Nicolas Cage did a phenomenal job playing Dracula. I'm excited to see how Keanu plays Dracula.
Like, Nicolas Cage is just such a meme to me that I struggle to watch anything that he's in because I'm like, that's Nicolas Cage. I have the same problem with what's her name? Angela Bassett. Anything Angela Bassett's in, I can't pay attention because I'm like, wow, that's Angela Bassett. I love Angela Bassett. Like, I'm watching this terrible like TV soap. It's I don't know if you've seen like 911 or that like whole universe.
I think so. Yes, that's like calling back to ye old days.
It's like a soap. It's Grey's Anatomy, but it's first responders.
Yeah.
But Angela Bassett plays a cop. But I can't watch the show because I'm like, how did they get Angela Bassett on this show? I feel like they're like holding her at gunpoint because not only is she acting, she's also a producer on the show. And it's not a good show. Like it's Grey's Anatomy.
They just
I
just
love
take on projects that they think will be fun. Like,
it's
fucking
so
Knives Out had such a A-list actor cast, and they look like they had a lot of fun.
I mean, Knives Out was fantastic.
Oh yes, it was. It's like campy and silly though, so like it's one of those movies where yes, it's a phenomenal movie, but I could see like actors being like, oh no, I don't want something like that on my resume. But no, it looked like they had so much fun. So
yeah. Very similarly with 911, it is so much fun. It's so soapy. They live in the Final Destination.
I can't remember who it was, but there was this like really like super popular actor who would do these blockbuster hits and stuff so that they could fund their own movie company where they basically did nothing but make B-list movies. Like they just used it to feel like the things that they wanted to do. So yeah, I'm like
very similar. Daniel Radcliffe kind of does that. He made so much money from the Harry Potter movies that he can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. So when Daniel Radcliffe's in something, you know he's like enjoying it and he wants to be there. Oh, Sam, lost you for a second.
It's okay. I heard basically what you said. You were saying Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, like I love watching Daniel Radcliffe and stuff because like I know that he's loving what he's doing. Like he's doing so good on Broadway and what's it called? Merrily We Roll Along. I didn't know he could sing.
Apparently so.
And he's next to Jonathan Groff. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go into our first sprint. Do you want to count us down?
All right.
Apparently not. No sprinting, only talking.
If my body lets me. Okay.
I feel that.
All right. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, we are back. I had like a hard time figuring out which mouse was the one that I left off. That's fine. So, what did everyone work on, and how did they do? I was listening to Playing with Fire by Katie McAllister while organizing, because the children and I will be keeping reading journals ish, and my sister, I was just like, hey, could you because we need a new printer. I was like, hey, if I buy regular ink and paper, can you print out these covers like yay big? And she's all like, there was a reason I bought this specific printer. We're buying sticker paper. And I was like, oh, okay.
They make
So
stickers.
Yeah, they make sticker paper for printers. Well, specific kinds of printers are compatible with the sticker paper. And the sticker paper is actually not that bad. It's like $14, or it's like $17 for a pack of 50 pages for the matte. And the gloss was like not that much more. I want matte. I don't need shiny stickers. So I was organizing that until Chris came in with dinner. Then I ate dinner, and then I went back to that. I am so close to finishing this audiobook. I am also really close. In the Year of Favorites readathon, there's 8 of us, so I want to read, 1 book per person. But back in May, I got like so behind. So in June and July, I've been playing catch up, but I am like this book plus 2 more away from being caught up.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So close. So close.
I wrote 200 words during that sprint.
Nice. So how close to the end of that chapter are you?
I'm actually, I think I'm gonna get there this stream. I took your advice and I made the internal monologue funnier, and I've been breezing through it. Like I've written 400 words since we talked.
That's one of my favorite parts about narrative voices, is that you can have the characters think and say things that won't fit in dialogue, but works in the narrative.
And are also like kind of tonally disjointed from what they're talking about.
Okay, so Lisa needs someone to tell her to go shower and then celebrate when you do. I don't want. Okay, so Lisa, you are smelly. I smell you from here. Go shower. Be sure. Get clean. The second half of your request will be delivered upon completion of your task. Supper. RP's not writing today, giving myself a break from the whip, so I watched 0 minutes of the newest Critical Role episode. Is that a typo? Or are you saying that like you prepared yourself to watch it?
Watch 0 minutes of it.
Like at first I thought I misread it, but I'm like, no. 30 minutes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It happens.
I took the 30 minutes to mentally prepare to watch the episode.
Some people do. Oh my god, Critical Role can get so emotional. I would not have judged.
Based on the thumbnail that I keep getting recommended, even though I haven't watched Critical Role. I am not even a little bit caught up on Campaign 3. The thumbnails are getting kind of ominous, and it's making me not want to watch it yet until we get through whatever this arc is.
I started watching Critical Role with the first one. Like not since the beginning, but like I caught up about halfway through, and then at that point I watched it either live or like as soon as I could after it went live. And so the first campaign I watched the finale live, and oh my gosh, I cried. Oh, that got me.
Man.
But and then campaign 2 I kept up with until like in the episode 20s, and I have been behind ever since. Yeah, I just don't know what it was. And it's not it's not anything wrong with the characters or anything, because I like the characters and I like the plot. And Laura and Travis role playing a romance on screen. I'm like, oh my god, the double shipper in me. But I will one day return to watching it after I, read my 96 books for the year and whatnot. These are all the, like, in my reading journal, these are all the series that I want to read. I have finished 2 of them.
The Locked Tomb. You should read The Locked Tomb.
I'm on hold I had gotten the second one, which was the second, Harrow the Ninth. That's the second one. I had gotten it and I had started listening to it, but I had so many other books at the time, and like I was enjoying it too. This is a mindfuck. I was like, I was ready to try to unscramble the mindfuck, but then it went back, and now I'm on hold again. But worst come to worst, after I get caught up on that, and then I got to read my 2 Agatha Christie's that I just got, because I
love Agatha
got 2 Agathas. Then I will dedicate myself to Nona next time she comes around. Or like as a worst case scenario, because I get Libro FM, I'll use my monthly credits to first buy Gideon, because I don't buy books out of order. That's just not gonna happen. But then I would buy Harrow, because my credit is $15.
Ooh.
Whereas like, so for $15 a month, you can have a Libro FM subscription, which Libro FM is my absolute favorite audiobook owning app, because you pick a store, and you can pick like an independent store, and all of your purchases go to that store. So then like you can support small business that way. And you can like look up like LGBTQ owned, woman owned, Black owned, just like there's a bunch of filters and stuff, so that you can like support this like specific communities if you want to.
It's
in
Libro FM.
Yes, and the app itself is free. It's just a portal of which you can purchase your audiobooks. But also, if you want the membership is only $15 a month, which is like, that's the average for a membership for any book service. Also, you get like 40% off of any audiobook purchases, and you get a credit a month to purchase any book that is applicable. But like, the only time I've ever wanted to buy a book that I couldn't use a credit on was the Bone Witch series, because the publisher wouldn't work with Libro FM at the time. But there was like this little apology letter, like this little apology note. They were like, we're so sorry that the credit doesn't work for this, but here, we've made it as cheap as we feasibly can for you. And I'm like, oh my god, they're so sweet. And their customer service is great. Anytime I've had an issue, like if because I have a membership, but the kids want to buy themselves audiobooks for their account sometimes. So the gift system is beautiful and works so well. But like I forgot to click this as a gift. And so I just emailed them. I'm like, hey, my daughter wanted to buy herself this book, but I accidentally bought it on my account. I'm like, I haven't listened to it or anything at all. So is there, any way that we can do it? And they're like, oh yeah, no, here. We refund you. There you go. Now you can, buy it on her account. And I was like, oh, okay. And then also she bought the wrong book one time. I was like, hey, it's just again. For my daughter. So really, I think they're just tickled pink that my child reads so much, because it's like always the same person in the email. Well, at least for me.
You have like a designated.
I do. Maybe. So I highly recommend Libro FM to everybody if you purchase audiobooks.
I've never purchased audiobooks. I get all of my audiobooks on Libby through the Boston Public Library.
Same, for the most part.
That's how I listened to Gideon. That's how I listened to Harrow. What speed do you listen to your audiobooks at? Because my entire family gets horrified that I listen to it at like 1.75 speed, because they don't talk fast enough.
Yeah, for the most part, I listen to them at 2. It's because like when they record it, they have to record at like a reading speed, which is a reading speed is like Let me click on RP real quick. He's like, I mean, they are literally playing gods right now
They
for
are?
a little side thing in the campaign, right? And they have to do that so that they can enunciate, and so that like most people. Also, that's really cool. Little side
I want to
campaign.
watch
with
Laura
playing
Bailey
gods.
playing a god.
But for me, that means that like I gotta put them at ×2 speed. But then every now and then I'll get a narrator who actually like enunciates and reads quickly, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta slow it down.
The woman who's reading for the Locked Tomb, she's great. She's got such a great like reading voice. Her character voices are fantastic, but she talks so slow.
So slow. Oh, correct me if I misremembered, but for oh my god, Gideon. Gideon has like a Southern British, like a Cockney accent, right?
Yeah, she's got a very thick.
I remembered correctly.
I love Southern English accents.
It's been a minute since I had heard Gideon, and like when Tina was in chat, and I was like, yeah, in the audiobook, Gideon's got like this Cockney accent, and Tina was like, she does? And like Tina read it physically, but I don't know, just that moment, I was like, oh god, am I wrong? But like I was certain
No, she definitely does. Yeah. She does.
And then Haro's is like
very like
it's not like proper Brit. It's like middle class British, I think.
She sounds like my grandmother if my grandmother were very like nasally.
She's very middle class British.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, so am I wrong? Am I right? Okay, yeah. She's like, I might not be able to name all of the regions and stuff in England, but I think because of certain types of exposure throughout my life, I know all of the general area of where British accents come from. So I can be like, you're Northern British.
Yeah, you'll know a northern accent when you hear it. Just like you'll be able to place like when someone's from Essex County in southern England and London.
I might not be able to say that they're from Essex, but I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the southern part of London.
They're not like the Valley Girls, but they're like, it's like if English accents had a New York accent.
Yes.
I love English accents. Even now, I love listening to my grandmother talk because sometimes I've been listening to her for a really long time, but even sometimes I'm like, what did you just say to me?
So for the longest time, I was like, I don't understand the hype of British accents. I just really don't, because there was only ever that one British accent that was like super condescending and stuck up, and I was like, why would you drool over that? But then I heard so many more varieties, and I'm like, okay, like if we're talking about these other ones, those are pretty cool. But that one,
posh accents are silly anyway. If it makes you feel any better, English people with posh accents also get bullied. So if you sound too posh.
Because they sound like that. Because it sounds like, and it's the thing that where like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, no, that's like the point, or that's the proud, is that you can sound condescending and polite at the same time. And I'm like, bitch, so do Southerners.
I will never be able to talk to a Southerner because they're having an entirely separate second conversation with the conversation that we are having.
It's honestly not as bad as the memes make it sound. Like I see some of the memes sometimes, and I'm like, you've never been to the South. You have no idea what you're talking about.
It's not that bad.
No, see, that's the thing. Most Southern people are very straightforward. Like, to actually like have a secondary conversation like that is considered very deceitful, and so like it's essentially you're being an asshole, right? And that's not what a lot of Southerners do, because a lot of Southerners like pride themselves on brutal honesty. You're like, you can be a little nicer, man, but yeah, no. However, in some of the upper classes of certain Southern states, such as Georgia, where the Southern belle culture and all of that was like super popular, they're the ones who would likely have those double, and it's the British. I mean, what? Who would say that? Where like that's like when people. I didn't hear nothing. That's like when people say, it's like, oh well, bless your little heart, and it's like, oh yeah, they're saying you're stupid.
Heart.
Not really. Like when they're saying, it's like, oh well, bless your heart. They're like literally saying, I pity you for being this ignorant about life. But it's not actually meant in a condescending manner. It's meant more in a I care about you and I can't handle how dumb you are thing. Which also sounds bad, but that's life in the South. So
I heard once that Southerners are nice but not kind, and Northerners are kind but not nice.
It's the other way around.
Is it really?
Yeah, well, depending on how you define it, because like nice is all about appearance. Like you want to be seen as nice, whereas kind is about actually genuinely caring and being helpful and stuff. So from my perspective, with those being my definitions, Southerners are kind. They'll help you. They'll feed you. But they're not particularly nice all the time because, like they'll walk into your house when the air conditioning's broke or something. They're like, oh, it's hotter than, or it's like, oh, hold on. I'm sweating more than a sinner in church over here. Go out and get this or something. Or be like, something like that. Or like if you can't cook or whatever, they were like, man, not even the dog would eat this. You go out there, I'll fix you something. So like, not particularly nice, but kind, because they'll help fix your AC and stuff. Whereas Northerners are more about presentation. They want to seem nice. They want to seem like they're helping and stuff, but they don't actually care. Unless you go to New York. If you go to New York and you run into some moms over there who's all like, look at you, you haven't eaten in how long? Sit down, we'll put some pounds on, we'll put some meat on you. New Yorkers, they're Southern.
Very similarly, like in Boston.
Yes, Boston.
People in Boston are not nice to each other.
So it's like, I would say it's select areas and stuff. Because also, like I said, depending on where you go in Georgia, they're also about seeming nice but not kind. So
yeah.
Louisiana, though, LA, Southern hospitality is a stereotype for a reason. RP said, I grew up in Northern Ohio. Sir, you're Midwestern. But have lived in North Carolina.
Midwest is a whole other country.
Southern people are just nice people. Even the brutally honest ones will at least attempt to be nice people. Also, in the military, all the Southern people were just so much nicer than the people from the North. That's why I said it depends on how you're defining nice and kind, which is why for the purposes of this conversation, I defined kind as having a genuine desire to help, whereas nice is about appearances. Because that's how it was always explained to me growing up.
Yeah, I think very similar.
It is a weird point of pride for a lot of Southerners to be like, I ain't nice, but I'm kind and I'm honest. And it's like, why would you not want to be nice too? Why can't we just be both?
It's the same thing up here where, if you ask someone to give you directions or, change your tire, they're not going to be like, oh, so you're going to go over here and you're going to take a left. And they'll be like, well, you never been here before. You're going to take a left and you're going to take a right. And then it'll be at the end of the street. My God. And then they will tell you how to do it, but they're not going to, they're going to make you feel a little bit dumb for asking, which has been my experience up here. Also,
I love Southern directions. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to go up, and then when you see the Walgreens, you're going to take a right. Now, if you go to the Taco Bell, you've gone too far.
I noticed that.
Which is funny, because at anime conventions, I give similar directions around our booth. Somebody will be like, hey, I'm looking for, this manga. And I'm like, oh, that'll be in the ends. What you want to do is walk around in there, and then it's in that middle aisle. You see where the Dragon Ball Z box set is? They're like, yeah, don't go there. You've gone too far. So, right there. So
yeah, up here it's very practical.
Midwest is still north though, or at least we always say we were Northerners growing up. I mean,
Yeah. Yes, but also like no. Because I'm from
to
New
be
England.
fair,
Hmm.
I was going to say, to be fair, anywhere north of Kentucky is technically considered the North by the South, but the northeastern, the New England states, are very territorial about being northeastern and
I was just
not
about to.
north.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like kind of northern purists. It's like north is New England and like maybe like Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware.
Yeah, that's where
But
I
like
was defining it.
anything further
And then
west is Midwest and then it's Pacific
yes,
Northwest.
Michigan, yeah, the mitten, and then the states that touch the mitten begin the Midwest. Although apparently Kentucky wants to be called the North now, and I'm like, you who are still so attached to Tennessee that you were like, no, we're not getting rid of daylight savings time. But Tennessee was like, we passed a bill to do it, and Kentucky's like, son of a bitch, no, I have to, which is still funny to me.
The South it doesn't seem to be segmented as much as the North is either.
No, the South is a lot more segmented.
Really, because like up here we're like, oh, it's the South and then it's the Midwest.
At the moment, the geography, the social geography of the United States. Suffer. Well, see, that's the thing, right? Because here's the other thing: is like there are regional perceptions, because, like you just said, anything below you is the South, and like I said, anything above is the North, right? But then, like the Midwest is the Midwest. No, there is technically the Southeast, which is Florida. This is the Panhandle, Florida to Louisiana, and then I think we got Bama and Mississippi too. But Georgia's, of course, in there, and the Carolinas. Yeah, it's very West Virginia, they count themselves too. That's technically the Southeast, right? And then Louisiana is technically its own culture. Every fucking southern state agrees Louisiana is its own form of South. Like, nobody disputes that. And then you've got the Southwest, which the Southwest is typically, that's what, when people think like Western culture, that's the Southwest. That's like Texas, I want to say Nevada, Arizona, they're all the Southwest. And then when people think like country, that's the Southeast. So like both have cowboys and stuff because we both have ranches, but it's just like different flavors, right? Which, like, you know, of course makes sense because it's a huge continent and we like grew differently. like our part of the South has a lot more Asian and Caribbean influence, whereas their part of the South has a lot more like Hispanic and Spain influence. Also French. We got a lot of French influence. Which it all makes sense if you look back historically as who actually claimed
each area.
Who took over each area? Region? Which European country committed which atrocities in which section? Yeah. So, like, those things make sense. Artemis, you're giving me a mustache. She's, like, not even anywhere near me, and I'm just, are you trying to help me out? Make me look more like a conquistador?
Southern directions versus northern directions. Something that I've noticed is American directions, they talk about how long it takes to get somewhere, versus in England and like the other places in Europe that I've been, they talk about like the actual distance, like in kilometers. So when they say, how far away is it? And I say, it's like, oh, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And they're like, but like, how far is it?
See, we wouldn't even be able to do the distance thing though, because like, how many times have you, I don't know how many road trips you've taken, but how many times are you doing a road trip where you easily go like 30, like 20 miles on the highway in like 20 minutes or less, because, you know, 60 miles per hour. But then, like, you get in a city and it's like your destination is 5 miles away. You will arrive in 30 minutes. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? Excuse me?
Like, I just,
traffic, rush hour.
that was such like a shock to be being like, why do you need to know that it's like 10 kilometers away? It's going to take us 20 minutes to get there.
If the roads are good.
If the roads are good.
And if there's no congestion.
And English people have no idea how big the USA is. And it makes me laugh. They're like, I never see my dad. He lives like 2 hours away.
I'm like, you have no excuse.
No excuse. I do 2 hours every weekend.
Fox says there's not nearly enough coloring maps in this geography lesson. That's fair. How far is it? How long does it take to get there? 2 different questions. They are. Like you're not going to get the correct information in my distance, but here we go. Yeah,
my cat.
That reminds me, I was like talking to one of my friends in Europe, and they're like, oh, I wanted to go to this one thing, but it's like 30 minutes away, and that's too far. And I'm like, bro, it takes me 20 minutes to get out of my neighborhood.
Like, some people commute 30 minutes to go to work every day. I'm like, oh yeah, 30 minutes is a perfectly reasonable commute to work.
Yes, right. Oh my god. Like, it's gonna take me 30 minutes to get to the store. It's fine.
Because, like, England is... Have you read that Tumblr post where, like, Americans have no concept of, like, how long, like, history, like, periods of time, what is, like, a long time, and Europeans, specifically English people, have no idea how distance is. Americans think 100 years is a long time. Europeans think 100 miles is a long way. And that just put a lot of things into perspective. And then also on that post, China is both big and old, and it scares me.
I argue. Yes. I argue 100 years is still a long time because most of us won't live long. That long.
I say the same thing, it's but still, like...
But yeah, like, relatively, it's not. I get it.
Yeah, like...
You can cross most European countries in like 3 to 4 hours. It doesn't even get you across one state in the US sometimes. That's how long... I have a short state, and that's how long it takes you to get from the top to the bottom, I think. Like, we drove from our city up to Indiana, technically, because we went to Kentucky Kingdom, which is at the top of Kentucky. So it's like our hotel was 20 minutes from Kentucky Kingdom, but it was in Indiana. So technically, we drove from the bottom to the top of Kentucky, and it was like a 4-hour drive. And Tennessee and Kentucky are short states.
Yeah.
We're long, but we short.
Yeah. Massachusetts, very similar.
Fun fact, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, the average American drives 45 minutes one way to work.
And that, like, sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, 2 hours is nothing. I've had a doctor who is 2 hours away, so yes, you can go visit your dad. Go see your vet. We're calling you out, random citizen. Be a better child. Unless, like, you have a really shitty parent, then you know what? I can't blame you. Yeah. But if you don't, I'm working on index cards, filling them out with each beat for each chapter.
Woohoo! Yeah. You can get across Massachusetts in like.
Also, I feel like Canada is like in between. I feel like Canada is like in between, but also they have like a better public transportation system than we do.
Oh, don't even get me started on stupid American infrastructure. Ford owns our country.
I can defend my city and my city only, in that my city started out as 4 separate towns of farming. Like, they were just 4 towns that happened to be within a certain distance of each other. And then at some point, they were like building in the same direction, and they were like, why don't we be one city? And that is how my town came to be. And now we appear on lists as like we are in the top 10 cities to raise a family, which validates me because I told my husband that we should move back to my hometown because I felt it was better for raising children. And everybody told me I was batshit. But guess what?
You were right. Town? How many people are in the town?
Now I don't know. Hold on, let me check. I'll tell you, my population used to be smaller than the graduating class of my husband's high school. Current, or as of 2022, we have 176,974.
Oh, that's a perfectly comfortable number.
I think, according to this, as of 2024, we are at 185,000 because we're growing.
Positively
It's too
booming.
big a number for most of. Yeah, it's too big a number for most of the original residents here who are getting angry at the traffic and the increased crime rates. I'm like, I can't help you. That's what happens. You got more people, you get more people who steal.
More people problems.
That's right. Which most of my cities like, okay, but we didn't want more people. So I'm like, I can't help that.
Like, we don't want you to be here.
Why are you Sam-nowing me, sir? Because of my population of my city. I didn't make these decisions. But I do remember, like, back when me and my husband started dating and we were talking about city sizes. So I was like, I am from a small town. No, it was at the time it was labeled one of the biggest towns, smallest cities in the U.S. And I'm like, this is a really specific name for us to have, but weird bragging point. But then like he looked it up and he's like, you realize my graduating high school class was bigger than your population, and I'm like, well, shut now. What do you want me to do about it? I'm not going to pretend I'm from a big city.
How do you put that many people in a school? That just seems like you wouldn't get anything done. Oh, that makes sense.
I was about to say, also keep in mind that I don't think our population was bigger than 100,000 at the time. Oh, I should be able to look it up.
Yeah. I was very like, I'm going to live in the city until I die the rest of my life. And then I went to college in a very small town and kind of in the middle of nowhere in the Berkshires. And I was like, maybe I can get used to the quiet, and maybe not having gunshots is nice sometimes.
So I was close-ish. At the time my husband and I met, my population was 113,492. Rupert's Land. Is that another word for Canada? Are you pitying my understanding of Canadian lands public transport? No. Yeah, I call Canada Canada. He calls America Maryland.
Oh, goodness.
He said pitying is a strong. Well, explain to me your emotions, sir. I only use strong words for emotions. I'm Southern.
I pity our public transportation system too.
Oh, whoops. All right. So I believe we are going to do this sprint, and then Rowan shall be leaving us for the night.
Unfortunately, I have work first thing in the morning.
Damn, needing to pay bills.
Fortunately for me, I am a morning person, so at the very least, small mercies, small mercies.
It's probably better that you leave us early. All right, I'll count us down. 3, a 2, a 1. Here we go. And we're back. I got more book. I have 12 minutes of the book read. And I got more of my series. Right now, I finished getting covers for all of the books I want to read for the year of favorites and all of the books that I have read this year. So now I'm going through and I'm organizing the series books that I've already read because I was like, oh, I already read covers. Let me just copy paste into a folder so I can organize those. But yeah, cause then I gotta go get the ones that I've already or that I haven't done yet. So many series.
So many series.
But
Yeah. I
so many.
I finally organized my Google Calendar after about a couple months of putting it off, and I put away dinner and cleaned up the kitchen. So, and I hung out with my cat, who is currently sitting in my bathroom sink. She likes to be included.
Oh, I mean, fair. They do tend to like to be included. They get very obnoxious when they're not included.
And with that, I think I do need to go to bed so I can go to work in the morning.
All right, we'll go ahead and tell the new peoples who have arrived who you are and whatnot.
Hi guys, I'm Rowan. I am one of CB's friends who met in college, and she introduced me to this lovely community of people. So I'm really happy to be here, and it's really nice to meet you all. And I like to pop in sometimes. I don't really have any social media. I've got Tumblr, but that's about it. If you want to, you can follow me on Instagram at Rowan __ to make a little face tea. And yeah. Thank you for having me, Sam.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me last minute.
Of course, I'm always happy to help.
We were in a work and chill call, and I was like, Rowan, you want to stream tonight? Rowan was like,
first time for everything. Yeah, doing this every week seems like a lot. It's like kind of scary a little bit. It's like nerve-wracking. It's not, but it is. I'm like, I need to be funny. Don't need to be funny.
You don't. You just have to be yourself. Right. And maybe have a cat. That. The audience really enjoys that.
I really do have a cat. She hasn't appeared much, but I do have one knocking around somewhere.
Fox noticed the moment she was on screen. He was like, it's a storm substitute.
All right. Bye, guys.
Sleep well.
It's nice to meet you, Kelly. Thank you, guys. Bye. Have a good stream. Bye.
Thank you. All right. I'm finding out. Hey, Bella, what's up? Congrats on taking the shower. I'm very proud of you. You did great, and I hope you're feeling clean and whatnot. Woo, supper and meds achieved. Oh yeah. Nice. Yes, child.
Cash order.
Yes.
Yes.
I will screenshot those to them and make sure that Rowan sees them. I have to do 3 more index cards, then I will be done with chapter 13. Well, we shall probably do the next sprint sooner rather than later, because I've been dealing with this migraine flare-up since. Plus, my internet is not being kind. So I feel better. I also gas filled out some of my bujo and washed my hair and brushed my teeth. Oh, you are a superhero. I'm jealous. I need to do all that. No. I thought I paused the timer and then went back, but I did not. Yeah, probably. That's what I was saying, is that we'll probably do the next timer sooner rather than later, because I've had a migraine flare up since Thursday. I think I'm on the tail end of it, but eh. And also my internet has been throwing a hissy fit. So, what do you mean you locked away your food apps? What? I need further explanation there. We've done 2, so we've got 1 more left. And thank you. It does suck. Especially since it was like tax-free weekend, so like, you know, we had to go shopping and stuff, so I couldn't not do anything over the weekend. Strange things. Hey, Heather. So I've just 12 more minutes and I will finish this book. And then I will be caught up on audiobooks for the Your Favorites Readathon, and I will just have 2, well, 1, I bought an ebook because, let me tell you, finding The Blood Race by E.M. Simmons? I forgot the last name, but finding that book anywhere for free, such a struggle. So I was like, fuck it, and I bought the ebook on Nook. It was only $7. I've done such a good job finding all of these books and stuff through free resources and whatnot. This is only the 3rd time I've had to purchase one, but I donated one of the ones I purchased to the library, and the other one I kept because I enjoyed it. And I think it's in my closet. She do be. Can you hear her? Would you like me to bug her so she goes and does that somewhere else? Because I can't hear her. I mean, I have like Uber Eats on the phone, and I have, oh, those kind of food. Okay. So until 68 days from the day it started, it's day 4, and I'm struggling. So this is like, is it a challenge you're doing to not use those apps, or? Oh, I can see her head. Fair enough. When I looked up, she wasn't in the camera view, so. When I picked Playing with Fire because June was the Fae month, and I was like, my series that I enjoyed the way they depicted the Fae, I wouldn't recommend to anybody for quite a few reasons. And like, I actually did not continue that series because of a couple of reasons. But so I was like, oh no, I can't I've forgotten every book I have ever read involving the Fae at all. Which now I'm like, oh, maybe I should have the Magic of Avalon? Web of Magic series? Either way, there's another series that I think of now that I could have recommended. But at the time, the only one that I could think of was this one, which technically the main character is a type of Fae. She is a doppelganger. She's a doppelganger to a Naiad. But doppelgangers are considered a type of Fae. And they have Fae in the book and stuff. So I was like, all right, here's my stretch recommendation for this. I've read everybody else's choice for a Fae book, though, and I'm like, mine, comparatively to their choices, bottom of the pile. But it's okay. I have greatly enjoyed everybody else's, and I now, if I had to pick, Emily Wilde might be my new favorite. That one or An Enchantment of Ravens. One of those two would probably be my new favorite Fae book. But yeah, so I'm reading this one. There were some facts and some details I had forgotten about the series. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I also got a meal service thing to replace it, and in this case, it will cut my food bill a little. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's a challenge. I need money, and I need to curb the impulsive loop. That's fair. Yeah. But see, when I looked up, it was like this. So, like, you couldn't see her head in the camera, but she was, like, cleaning her leg. So I was trying to figure out, like, how it was known. But I have greatly enjoyed this, and I'm hoping in August, knock on wood, to actually do my tier assortment for these things so I can share it with the Year of Favorites readathon. Which I might have to go back. Well, I thought I might not remember some of the ones that I read because, you know, I listened to them as audiobooks in the depths of the night during a migraine. But so far, when I've looked at the covers, I do remember more than I thought I would. So that's good. I just hope I will be able to remember enough to give my my reasons for why I put it where I put it, and not just this is just how I remember feeling. Also, I've got the next two for my Agatha Christopher, the Hercule Poirot series, because that's where I'm starting. Well, that's where I started for my Agatha Christie binging. And it's kind of funny because Chris wants to watch the movies based on Agatha Christie's work, but I told him that we couldn't watch them till I read the books. And I'm reading, you know, the Hercule Poirot ones in publication order. And he looked at the list and he's like, but they're so far down. They're so far away. And I'm like, I can't help that. He's like, well, you need to get to binging. And I'm like, I can only read them as fast as the library will give them to me. And so, yeah. But then, like, the next day, Lord Edward Dies came up. And I'm like, oh, well, that's the next one I need. And then, like, yesterday, Murder on the Orient Express came up, and I'm like, well, that's the one I need after Lord Edward Dies. So I've got my next two there. And they're pretty short audiobooks. They're only 3-4 hours long. So I easily finish those ones. Ooh, which one did you read? Oh, I'm sorry. I feel that. Can you take anything for it? And if you can, have you? Whenever my cat is cleaning the like underside of her leg, like the little ankle looking area, I just want to grab her little tiny foot. Oh, I've never seen it and I've never read it, but I should be reading it this week, so I can't wait. Somehow, despite the famousness of that book, it was never same though. I have done a really good job keeping myself from seeing anything about it, so. But like, Lisa, I don't know if you were here when I started my Christie readathon, because I've read 8 Hercule Poirot books now. But at some point last year, I was like, you know what? I really love mysteries, and I love watching mysteries. And I'm like, but I don't I haven't read a lot of mysteries in my adult reading life. Like, I used to read them when I was a kid. I actually read a lot more of them than I thought. You know, I ate up the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys series, and there were a couple others like that. And I'm like, I need to read more mysteries now. And so, like, where else does one start? At, you know, one of the most prolific and well-respected authors. At least that's where I wanted to start. But like, Agatha Christie has written so much. I was like, I want Hercule Poirot. I want to read about the detective that she made essentially to spite Sherlock Holmes, because that's funny to me. she well, she didn't make him to, but she, like, the way she designed Hercule Poirot, she did so to spite Sherlock. And because, you know, Sherlock, he gets like on his hands and he'll like get dirty and nitty gritty, and he's an addict, and there's a couple other things, and it's like Hercule Poirot is like the opposite of that, where, you know, he's very prissy, he's very methodical and like he's got, I'm pretty sure he's got like at least the sub threshold of OCD, though they don't use that terminology in the book. I gotta get through Lord Edward Dies, and then that Murder on the Orient is next. I was such a Nancy Drew girly when I was like 8, right? Sometimes it seems that just going outside, not when it's bright, and or running an errand when you've been inside most of the day can help. Sometimes. Which was me this evening. Well, that's good. I'm pretty sure I got something in my eye the other day. And every now and then my eye's like, hey, the thing might still be there. And I'm like, but is it or isn't it? It's highly distracting. I do have prescribed medication for it. It helps a lot. Nice. Artemis, you were over there taking your bath. Just fine. Why did you have to move over here where the mice are? Go back to the other side. Go. Shoo shoo. This also works. She's like, I can't let you win, but I don't like you grabbing my feet. Excuse me. I don't know if Lynn's going to do the Year of Favorites readathon again, but if she does, I hope Mystery makes one of the months next year, because I would definitely be up for joining again. Like, I have discovered so many good series and like books through this readathon that I just didn't know about. Like Lockhart and Co. That's a good mystery series, like middle grade mystery horror series. Like, that's great. I love it. I have gotten one of my children into it. He's very excited about it because he's like, he'll be 13 this year, and he's getting into like horror and paranormal and, you know, just all things spooky and go bump in the night. It's kind of funny because before, like, his aesthetic and everything was like teal and pastel pink and blue, and he very much like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, so a lot of his like backpacks and stuff were in those colors and with Stitch on them. And now he's like, he got rid of most of his old backpacks, and now he's got like this really dark green backpack. And well, like, he likes dark green too, but now he's like wearing all black, and his shoes, he's got black Vans and stuff, and I'm like, oh, he's becoming the edgy punk kid that I used to be. And my daughter's like, she's kind of being silly, because like we just bought her some new, well, we bought all of them new clothes for school, and she picked 2 band t-shirts, and she was so excited because they are specifically band t-shirts. And one of them's like this black t-shirt with AC/DC in pink. And my husband's like, he was teasing her, and he's like, you know who AC/DC is? And she's like, yeah, you guys play them in the car. And then there was also a Pink Kiss t-shirt, which I don't know if she knows of Kiss because we listen to Kiss or because of Scooby-Doo and Kiss. And so, but either way, she now has that. And then they've got those like pleated skirts and stuff, right, out in fashion right now. And so she got some of those, and we came home, and she like pairs them together, and she's like, Mom, She's like, what do I look? Oh, I forgot what word she said, but I was like, no, baby, you look. Oh, I think she said like goth or emo or something. Either way, wrong subculture. I was like, no, baby, you're dressing very pop punk or very punk or punk rock. I'm like, which is fine. I'm like, that's your mother's aesthetic. And she's like, okay. uh, shower and getting ready for bed has occurred. Unfortunately, I have to leave early because I have work earlier than normal. Well, thank you for dropping by. Thanks for the coffee ko-fi shout out. And I hope you rest well. Scooby-Doo explain. I've seen the Scooby-Doo. Okay, so there was an era of Scooby-Doo where they were making these straight to TV / straight to DVD movies, right? I'm pretty sure Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost are the two most well-known and most successful ones. Well, they also had one called Scooby-Doo and Kiss, where like it's literally the band Kiss, and they voice act their own characters. What's up, baby? Okay. But like it's wild, Lisa. If you want me to share, like if you don't want spoilers, let me know. Well, actually, let me know either way, whether you want spoilers or whether you want to go find this and watch it and experience it for yourself, because it's got some twists, but it's great. Which we own Scooby-Doo and Kiss on our Voodoo / Fandango at home now, because my niece was obsessed with it, and like me, it started out as me and my little sister's Voodoo account, because you would buy Blu-ray plus digital codes. So we were like, hey, we'll just share our digital codes. We're like, let's just collect our thing together, right? And then like she told our parents about it, and at some point our parents got really big into the Voodoo too. So now we like, we just text each other, hey, I just bought this, or hey, I just bought that. And we got our baby sister in on it, although she didn't use it a lot until my niece got a little older. And so because of that, we now own certain seasons of Scooby-Doo, and they bought her Scooby-Doo and Kiss. And then just recently we bought, because they were on sale, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost and Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, because I wanted to introduce our children to these classics. And my husband was like, I want the John Cena one next. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. That's a good one too. Yeah, right. There's so many good Scooby-Doo movies from that. I mean, they're like, they're wild. See, that's what I thought. Scooby-Doo and Kiss itself is kind of, right? I'm like, I need to know how this movie came about. I need to know if like somebody was sitting around and the Scooby-Doo executives, and they were all like, you know what we need? We need a movie with Scooby-Doo and Kiss. Let's call up Gene Simmons and the guys and see if they want to do it. Or alternatively, if Gene Simmons and the rest of Kiss were like, you know what, our kids are getting a little older, we need to be in a kids movie. Excuse me, Scooby-Doo execs, can we make a movie together? I want to know how it came about. Even in the 70s, there were some serious crossovers and special guests. I think Kiss were guests back in the day. They might have been. What was that series called? Guess Who with Scooby-Doo? No. Where they had a different guest every day. They might have been. Not a crossover I would have expected. Yeah. And like, I think one of the songs that plays in the movie is also like, I Was Made for Loving You. And I was like, oh, I think this is one of the songs. Oh. It's giving when Disney Channel would do those crossover episodes. That's fair. Serious timing, James. I need to know. Was it Guess Who was Scooby-Doo? No, but there is a. Oh, Scooby Doo and Guess Who? That's my dyslexia acting up, is what that is. Now I need to know. We're okay. Scooby. If I can spell Scooby right. Scooby Doo and Guess Who kiss. I need to know. Well, this article has confused me. I must read further in. Was there a Scooby Doo Guess Who in 2021? Because these posts are from 2020, but I was pretty sure that series was. There's a website called ScoobySnacks.com that releases Scooby Doo news just for anybody who wanted it. Apparently there was supposed to be another Scooby-Doo and Kiss episode, but like it got scrapped at the last moment and instead the Hex Girls guest starred. Oh wait, Scooby-Doo and Guess Who? Is this a oh, this one was from 2019 to 2021. Okay, so that's not the one from the 70s. I'm on a hunt now, guys. Oh, it was Guess Who Scooby Doo. It was Guess Who Vindicated. In the 1970s show were Batman and Robin, the Three Stooges, probably other Hanna-Barbera characters. Yes. No, wait, this is also the. All right. I will exit this for now, but I know this series existed. All right, we are going to go ahead and do our sprint now. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you all for joining me down the Scooby-Doo rabbit hole temporarily. And I will see you guys in 20. So, excuse me. 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello. We have finished our last sprint. How did everybody do? Yes, I don't know. My internet decided to leave. And yes, I came back. I made myself a late night snack, which is an accomplishment for my depressed self. Food is good. I am glad that you were able to make nourishment. I finished my book, and then I tried to work more on my thing, but my sticker organization thing. But it's just the internet and the Mila, they were fighting. And so I updated that. And then after I updated Mila Note, it like kicked me out of StreamYard. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll just do that later. So I started listening to Lord Edward Dies while playing my phone game. Which, by the way, if anybody wants a fun, casual phone game that is cat themed, let me know. I need 6 more friends. So, well, I need to invite 6 more people so I can get this really cute cat plant. But I am going to call it for the night. And thank you all for stopping by. I hope to see you all, or, whoever can make it on Wednesday. This is. I am. If it's not changing. Oh, it's just not. Okay, there we go. I am writing Mom Smith at El Nasset. You can see me at my server when life is not kicking my ass via the dollar membership tier of my Coffee Ko-Fi down below. You are all very welcome for all the things, and I'm always ready to yell at people when they request yelling. And I shall catch you all next time. Bye.